Hey Decide Destiny crew, Carl Spyrides here. Thanks for joining me for another Decide Destiny Daily Dose. Today I've got Brandon in the hot seat. Say hi to the folks, Brandon.
Hi folks.
We're going to discuss alternative financial ventures, and I couldn't think of anyone further, greater to sit down to decide to be empowered with your economics and your finance. Brandon to my left, and he is the founder of Orange Brick Road. And what they do is they help onboard people into the crypto space, help people who might have a lot of their finances, investments in property, in shares, in the bank, and he helps them to, bring it over into the crypto space. Is that good representation?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we kind of have a diverse background, people from Uber drivers, stacking coals, bricklayers, carpenters, to finance guys, stock guys, real estate people, a lot of, the bigger clients are obviously the stock and the real estate guys.
Yes, moving a lot of assets.
Especially with the real estate, because what I say to real estate guys when they first get introduced into cryptocurrency and they ring me and they're like, oh, what's this crypto thing? I've been trading for a number of years. I've got a lot of investments or whatever.
Yep.
I say to them, listen, just liquidate 5% of your portfolio.
Okay.
Maybe 10% of your portfolio. What you're in profit, don't liquidate it when it's down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and then put it into crypto.
Yep.
And then watch it for 2 or 3 months, and it'll probably outperform your 80 or 90% of your other stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And then you just go, okay, that works for me. I'm comfortable with it. Put another 10, 15% in.
Yep.
I've done that with 4 or 5 different stock guys that were heavily into stocks and shares and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
And over 8, 12, 18 months, they're 100% out of stocks.
Yeah, wow.
You know? Yeah.
So what you're saying is ease into it. You're not saying grab your whole portfolio and dump it in.
Definitely, because what happens is even with guys with super or they've sold a business or whatever, I won't name names, but I've got two that come to mind.
Yep.
Where that was the plan with him, just get 10, 20%, put it in. So we did that, and then I gave him some lessons over 2 or 3 month period, and then what normally happens, well, sometimes it happens, you connect with someone for 2 or 3 months, get them on board, get them understanding the technology and how things work and that sort of stuff, and then you might not hear from them for a month.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Because they go off into the wilderness and go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And so anyways, he rings me up. They were actually friends, but anyways, he rings me up and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. My portfolio's dropped 25, 30% and I'm like, did you ease in? He goes, no, after a month I just put everything in. Right?
Jeez.
And we're talking $750,000 on the day.
My God.
Right? And I'm like, well, that wasn't the plan. I'm so tempted to say his name. That wasn't the plan, mate. Because you get a chart that goes like this and like that and down and up and all over the place.
Yeah.
If you buy here, and just sort of even once a week, every Thursday,
Yep.
the chart's gone from here to here, but you've averaged there.
Yes, right.
It's people that just pile in and they might buy at the top.
And then it sinks.
Drops 25, 30%.
Yeah.
Now, you get 25, 30% in traditional stock market, it drops in a day, people are throwing themselves out of windows.
Yeah.
In cryptocurrency, we call that Tuesday. It's just another day, you know what I mean?
Right.
So when you got stock guys that are used to not as much volatility,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden something pumps 38% in a day, they think they're a genius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it can also drop 38% in a day.
Yeah.
And then they want to throw themselves out of buildings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my investment strategy that's sort of developed over the 4 or 5 years that I've been doing it in the crypto market is we kind of just get people to almost do a set and forget where you pick 5 or 6 cryptos and then once every single week it's done on a sequence order through the exchange, and you like round figures, $100, $1,000, 10,000, just add a zero, minus a zero, whatever.
So that's like hex, like all the different.
Yeah, and you'll go like, just say, I'll use $1,000 as an example, but in your $100, whatever. You would pick 5 or 6 different ones, and then each week they just buy them, and then you have 20 or 30% of your allocated funds that's just saved, and it sort of adds up. So after a month, you've got $200 or $300 in there, $2 or $3 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
So when things pull back, you can buy back in, or you can diversify.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like a savings account. That's the best way to do it. And what I generally say to people is, because they don't understand even the tax implications, is I don't have the figures off the top of my head and they change all the time, but if you buy and sell something within the first 12 months, I think it's 38% capital gains.
Right.
Right. 2 years, I think it goes to 28%. 3 years, it goes 22%, and then I think it hits 18% and stays flat.
Okay.
So you get guys that jump in and goes up 65% and they sell within 6 months. They're paying 38% on that.
Yeah, right.
So what I'm saying to people is, this is a long game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to be building up your portfolio. And what I do suggest is, and these are only suggestions, I'm not a financial advisor.
Yep.
Most financial advisors I've ever met are broke. They don't have a lot of money, which is ironic, you know.
Just add that in there. Just drop
little nugget.
Tea. Yeah.
Because I've dealt with them, and anyways.
Yeah. We're not actually giving advice. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
No, just guidance. And everybody's different. They have different goals. They have different time frames, time preferences, budgets. Work, for example. I do a lot of offshore guys, mining guys.
Why do you think that is, that a lot of people that you've met that are financial advisors are broke? Do you think it's the information? Do you think it's the approach? Or do you think it's the system? And obviously you're very much into thinking outside the box and looking at different systems. Cryptocurrency is a different economic platform.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that is? That the people that we go to generally, and I'm not saying this. I'm definitely not saying that if you're a financial advisor you're broke, but in terms of your experience, you've seen that. Yeah. Like, why do you? What do you feel that?
Well, I think the type of person that's attracted to that type of job is a very conservative person.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they don't have a high risk tolerance, right?
And it takes risk to be. You look at entrepreneurs. You look at people that have created amazing things.
That's right.
That have got made a lot of money. Takes lots of risks.
Yeah. I mean, even what you do, you know what I mean? You don't have a steady income and a wage coming in and working for someone else and working 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You provide your own income. You know, you're a risk taker.
Yeah. Where it falls back on the person. Yeah.
It does, on your own personal effort and how much you want to. But saying that, you can put a lot of effort into something and just not very good at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or the wrong market fit. So that's why entrepreneurs.
Some information. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Not quite educated in the field enough.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, not to bag on financial advisors, I know a few and they're great people and all that. But they've got a very low risk tolerance. They're also, I'm going to say, handcuffed by regulations and governments. They have to be conservative with people's money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're not really allowed to put them into high risk ventures.
Yeah.
So there is that as well. So there are liabilities and that sort of stuff. But they kind of work in a different frame.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I guess the main thing that I'm taking away from this is that it's different. You can't say real estate, what I know from real estate, the information, the experience, the lessons, I'm going to take all that straight into crypto. Or what I know from shares, I'm going to take all that into crypto. Yep. It's a different game, different kettle of fish altogether. And the people that think that it's kind of like that. I think it's a Japanese proverb that the one who thinks he knows everything knows nothing at all.
Yep.
And it's like, you've got to come to the new platform with new information and new. I guess one of the big questions that I have, or maybe taking a stab, but one of the big things is, how do you use it? So you're looking at cash, you're looking at the fiat currency system. You're able to transact, you're able to move it around, you're able to get it flowing a lot. Yep. And I guess that's been one of the not drawbacks, but one of the obstacles to overcome with crypto is the accessibility
and use case.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do with a Tesla stock? What do you do with a BHP stock?
Yeah, you're right.
You don't. You just buy it and the number goes up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hopefully.
Yes.
You don't get dividends off it.
Yeah.
You don't get any income stream off it.
Yep.
So there is the speculative nature of cryptocurrency. There is that. But going just one step back and remind me of that point, because hopefully I'll get there and not go down a rabbit hole.
Yes.
But when you're onboarding people, what I say is, look, for the first 3 to 6 months, you're not going to even have your feet on the ground.
Right.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Righty? So that's why I like setting them up on set and forget. Do you know what I mean? So while they're going through that learning adjustment period, because it's very, very hard to pour tens of thousands of dollars into something that you kind of, don't get me wrong, people do.
Yep.
But yeah, learning about blockchain technology, the difference between blockchains, their use cases, what they're for, what the growth is on it, and the use case, like the difference between Cardano and Decentraland, for example.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Web3.
Yes.
So it's all about adoption. So basically, a lot of cryptocurrencies are different, but how I sort of equate it in my head is, with fiat currency, they just can print more.
Yeah.
Righty? With cryptocurrency, it's limited.
Yeah.
Righty? Now, some of them do have inflation, but the inflation is capped, like 3 or 4 or 5% per year.
Right. Okay.
Righty?
Yeah.
So if you've got round figures, if you've got a 5% inflation, but you've got a 15, 20% more adoption per year,
Yep.
it pushes the value up.
Okay.
Right? So more people that are using the protocol for its use case, right, whatever that may be in its own space. So the more people that are coming into it, and it's capped. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They can't just print more stock
Yeah.
and suddenly, I'm going to make 100 billion more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It can't. It's in code, it's locked, it's immutable, nobody can change it. So there is that certainty.
Yeah.
It's the same with gold. You invest in gold and they have a certain average production per year,
Yeah. Backed by gold. Yeah.
but they could find a brand new gold mine in the middle of somewhere that could put more gold onto the market.
Yeah.
Like the diamond trade, I won't even go into that, right? Because that's manipulated to its, you wouldn't believe it if I told you.
We never used to sit down, propose with diamonds and all these different sort of things, and then it slowly, bit by bit, came into TV and movies.
That's right.
And then now that's like an
and they artificially hold up the market.
Yeah.
Righty? Because they'll only let out a certain amount per year.
I feel like that's pretty widely known now.
Yeah. Not so much 5-10 years ago.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But now with the invent of YouTube and although YouTube's a cesspool nowadays, with the banning and all that.
Podcasts and social and...
Yeah, there's a lot more information.
Yeah.
I mean, back in my day, you're a lot younger than me, but back in my day, you couldn't be like, oh, what's the name of this book, and just get on your phone and look it up. You got Wikipedia, you've got Google, you've got instant information.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's also helped cryptocurrency in a sense where before, if you were to invest in a stock or whatever, you go to a stockbroker.
Yeah.
Right, you have to have a minimum of, I don't know, $40,000, $50,000.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or $10,000 buy-in or whatever. They buy it for you. They do all the brokerage and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And you can't really educate yourself on it. Otherwise, getting it sent to you in the mail or whatever. But now you can access everything online. You can trade online.
Yeah.
You have the ability to learn online, do courses online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the whole dynamic.
Mentors and
And that's what, exactly. And that's why sort of this younger generation, I'm kind of including myself in it.
Yes.
You
millennial you.
Yeah. We use resources online to educate ourselves.
Yep.
Whereas the ability for that to happen back in the stock trading days, not so much. Well, it didn't exist at all. So we are getting a lot, but with younger people, I like to get them to understand, how can I put it? If you get someone that is a young guy or whatever, and you get them to put $50 to $80 a week out of their pay into crypto, right? And you say to them, hey, listen, instead of buying Uber Eats twice a week, do you know what I mean? Or going to the pub or whatever and blowing that, expendable income that you've got, you put it at that 60 or 80, even if it's $50 or whatever per week.
Fiat, is a different sort of currency, obviously, and you can print more money. Gold, backed by gold, diamond, how the industry kind of restricts to raise the value, and it's good to hear that crypto has that sort of boundary, that 5% interest that you said.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. Whether you have boundaries in your own personal life, how you, like you said, what you're teaching your kids already to put money away, to not do those things.
Yeah.
So what, I guess, good question would be, what are maybe the top 3 concerns people have when they come to you and they go, I want to get into the space?
Yeah. Probably the first thing would be magic internet money.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, what is this magic internet money? And why are there so many 18-year-olds driving Lamborghinis and Porsches? You know, like, what have I missed out on?
Yeah, what did I do wrong?
What did I do in a previous life?
Yeah.
So, but what I say to people is like 3 to 6 months you don't have your feet on the ground.
Right.
Because there's a lot to learn. There is a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And when I say 3 to 6 months, depending on how much time you have, so a lot of guys that work over, offshore or on the mine sites and all that, they got 2 and 1, so they're 1 week off. They pretty much sleep for the first day and a half, and then they do 2 or 3 days in the crypto, and then they hang out with their kids, well, hopefully a family and that sort of stuff, and they're off. So they've got a very short period of time, to get a lot done. Where I've got a lot of housewives, that got more time and getting into crypto as a second form of income.
That's pretty cool.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Mate, big adoption. Big adoption.
Demographic,
So the demographic spread right across the board. I'll say, look, for 3 to 6 months, you're not going to feed on the ground.
Yep.
But what I kind of do is I break it down to make it habitual. Do you know what I mean? You're learning to be habitual. And I get that from a music background and teaching music and that sort of stuff. It's like you can do 10 hours in a week of something, but if you do it 5 hours one day, 5 hours 4 days later, you're going to get less value than if you had it done an hour and a half per day.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So every single day. So I have my habits, which are, different to other people because I do this full time. Yep. But I get up and generally have a cigarette and a coffee, which I've got to stop to it. I did quit for a while, but got back on them. Oh, I'm going to say 4 months.
Yeah.
I quit just recently too.
That's good.
Yeah. No, I felt heaps better too.
The 4 months is the
it's building all of this and getting it all organised where I just go out, have a smoke and sort of check out for 5 minutes and then come back. And so I've got to make a more healthy way of spending that 5 minutes,
A new discipline, go out and, I don't know, listen to chimes. I don't know what it is, go
do
out.
Something. Do something.
Yeah.
So like, for example, you get up, do your thing, whatever you do, yoga, I don't know, whatever, and then spend an hour learning, you know what I mean? And then take a break and then do another hour. Because you also get a lot of people, especially the housewives and, people that have got 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off of their 2 weeks, they just go hard into it.
Right.
Another person comes to mind actually. She was in traditional finance for 25 years, red-pilled, orange-pilled into crypto.
Yes.
And just went hardcore, like 8, 12 hours a day into it, And I keep on wanting to say her name. But I said to her, she's frying herself out. And I'm like, listen, once again, when I say her name, is you're better off doing 2 hours, taking an hour off, doing 2 hours, as doing that, because you're doing the 6 to 8 hours, but you're only absorbing the 2 or 3 and you're burning yourself out. And my habit is, and it's I don't know if it's a continental thing or European thing, is between 1 and 3, I take a break. You know what I mean? I put on a podcast, close my eyes, do some meditation, just get out of the mind frame. And then I spend 2 or 3 hours after, between 1 and 3, and the amount of work I get done after that is a lot more productive than the little space. So when you first get into crypto, there's so much to learn, and it's what I call shiny object syndrome. You see a crypto, then you get a YouTuber that says, buy these ones that are all going up, and then you're off here, then you hear this and you're off there, and then you're looking up this and you're looking up that, and you're all over the place. Where my basic plan with people is you get consistently performing cryptocurrencies. They might be 8 or 10, and you invest in them regularly. When you've got big money coming in, you've sold a boat or your motorbike, or you sold your lounge chair off Gumtree or whatever, you got $200 or $300, then you can look for other projects, you know what I mean? But you have that consistent buy-in. And then after a year or two, you look at what's in profit. So example, you bought Cardano, round figures again, add another zero, $1,000 worth of Cardano. Now it's worth $3,500, righty? I'll take $500 of that profit and I'll put it into another cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? So I'm using my profits to diversify, right? And then you can do over diversification, like that's what I do, because I have shiny object syndrome. I hear about a new protocol, I'm very excited about it, and I'm like, I do my research and I'm like, I'm going to pile into this, and I do, and I ended up 25, 30, 40, I couldn't even tell you, different cryptos, and you're looking at it, you can't follow them, or you don't know when you bought them, how long you had them for, you know, I mean, it gets too messy.
You can't track it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So And then what you do is you just level down, and I've done it just regularly all the time.
Yes.
Cut it back, cut it back, cut it back.
Yeah.
But once you diversify, and then round figures again, put $500 into something, that turns into $1,200.
Yep.
I'll take that $500 out that I initially invested and let that run. And I'll put that $500 somewhere else.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're using your initial investment to gain and then diversifying. So that's after like a year or two, you sort of diversify.
Yeah.
But if you have a good structured investment plan from the start to build a solid performing portfolio, it then gives you the ability to not use your own money to diversify and get big gains.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how we work.
Yeah, yeah. What would be, I guess, advice for maybe people that are a bit older? Because I guess a lot of people that you kind of get in, you get young people, you get kind of people in different industries. But what if someone's like, actually, a friend of mine, he's in his 80s, and he's said he's getting into it. So,
Yeah.
you know, which is quite interesting.
You're never too young to learn. You only get old when you stop learning.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? When you get that ability where I know enough, I don't need to know anymore.
Yep.
And I think not only do you mentally decay, you physically decay as well.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're sort of shutting yourself off. Had similar experiences, older guys, amazing, you know. And you get them on Zoom or Skype or whatever, and it's hilarious because the experience is, you know, how do you screen share?
Yes.
You know what I mean? The bottom to the right. No, the other right. No, the bottom, not the top. Right? Don't click that. You know what I mean? And you're just having this fight.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious. And it will take 2, 3, 4 lessons sometimes before they got it, and they've got it then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always a funny little fight, you know, and and they're talking
Technology
like, your
fight,
microphone's not on, bro.
Yeah.
Your microphone's not on. Where's your camera? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's why it's a personalised service, and what we provide at Orange Brick Road is because I'm a very visual, hands-on type of guy.
Yes.
Right? I want someone to go, because even that exercise bike, right?
Yeah.
It came and they delivered it and it was in this box, right? Same with the furniture, same with the desk, same with everything, right?
Yeah.
All boxes, And I'm just like, oh my God, reading the instructions. I'm like, too hard. Got someone in, just done it.
Yeah.
Right? He showed me how to do it, and I can do it. Right?
What, Airtasker or something, or?
The dudes from the people that do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Just set your stuff up.
Yeah, they build everything for you.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because I don't have the time, and the 2 hours that would have spent me doing that, my 2 hours is better off spending somewhere else.
Yeah.
But when you've got someone that goes, all right, I'm elderly, and they watch 2 hours of this YouTube, an hour of that, 4 hours of this, and they're just confused. You know what I mean? It's information overload. Whereas, it frightens them out. Where we say, start here. This is how you connect your bank account. This is how you KYC, know your customers, the government regulation, upload your ID. How do I do that? You know what I mean? And then, okay, this is how you put money in. This is how you buy. This is how you open up your own wallet. This is how you send it to them. This is what that means when it's in your own wallet as opposed by the central exchange. Protect your seed phrase. If I've got your seed phrase, I've got your money, stress it to them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And we step them through the process one step at a time. Now, people that are time poor on mine sites, whatever circumstance they are, just work, carpenter, own business, whatever. They don't have the 8 or 10 hours of sorting through what's a wallet, what's the difference between, what's a seed phrase. I'll just write it on my hand.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas in 2 to 4 hours over two lessons, fully set them up. You know what I mean? So we know that they're secure, they understand what's going on, they understand the technology, but also when you're walking them through that, they'll be asking questions, right? And they can ask bizarre questions, right? But to them, they want to know. And they're all coming from different backgrounds, so they're kind of using their own life experiences to understand something.
How does it fit into my framework?
That's
how does it
right.
fit into my thinking. Yeah.
It's how you explain something.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to a point, I don't think there's bad students. I just think there's bad teachers.
Yes.
Because you've got to be able to relate to that person and then get in their mind frame of how is the quickest way for them to learn, you know?
Yeah.
And I also have found that the people that do 8-10 hours with us over a month or whatever long it is and dedicate themselves to it, they stick around and they become long-term.
Yeah.
There's people that come in and do an hour or two and you don't hear from them for a month, righty? Then they'll do one lesson again and then you'll never hear from them again, right? Because they're trying to learn too much at a time. And then they throw their hands up and go, this is too hard, there's too many protocols, I don't really understand the technology, the whole thing's a bubble, I hear on Twitter that it's all going to zero, my friends are telling me I'm an idiot, do you know what I mean?
So many different opinions people have to, you don't have to take on, but like people are negotiating with, you know, family, friends, someone on YouTube, someone,
but
you person on this TV.
You listen to people that, one, don't have a vested interest.
Yes.
Righty? Now, a lot of family members, their vested interest is protecting you. And that comes through love.
Yes.
You know, they don't want to hear about you getting wrecked, you know what I mean, and losing your money. So, you know, it comes from a good place.
That means retreating away from risk.
It does, you know, and that's what you want to do with loved ones. You want to protect them. You don't want them to go out and I prefer to go, here you go learn, you know. But it also is a lot of ignorance and them understanding, and also it can be even jealousy. Do you know what I mean? You're off learning something I don't really understand, you know? So there's a lot of dynamics.
Yeah, because when you're doing something, you're pointing out that the other person's not.
That's right, exactly. I'm improving, I'm learning something new. You're still flipping burgers, you know? Or
that's like a pain to them. It's like, how they take
it's almost a form of jealousy, you know, and spite. So there's a lot of moving angles on people's own personal development. But the idea of investment is you want to secure your future, right? Now, I never wanted to do any of this, right? I got into crypto because I was very interested in it. And I was like, what is this Bitcoin thing? I've heard about it for a few years. I haven't had the time to look into it. All right, I'll look into it. Went right down the rabbit hole. Then after 12 months or so, I was doing all right. Well, kind of wasn't. I bought it at the top and rode it all the way down. I FOMO'd in at the top. Oh yeah,
top to the barrel.
It was a good 12, 18 months of going, oh God, have I made it? But I just kept on researching and spending time on it and just going, this
completely obsessed.
This has to work. I don't understand why it's not, you know?
Committed to it,
Yeah, I just went, I kind of had the opinion that working the job that I want, I was on pretty good money, but I'm never going to retire comfortably, right?
What were you in before?
Last job was construction, high-rise commercial construction and that. So it was pretty good money, right? I worked long hours, right? A lot of overtime. So I'm like, okay, I can do this and then keep on doing it to 60, 65 and I'm going to have $200,000 or $300,000 in super, right, or something like that. With cryptocurrency and investing, at least this is an opportunity, right, and a chance to not have that future, to have a better one. Do you know what I mean? And if it works out, great, but if it doesn't, at least I took it.
It's worth the risk.
It is worth the risk, because I know what my end goal is if I don't do anything different. I know that result. You know?
That's a great lesson, folks. That is a great lesson for everyone at home.
That's right. It's just like I've put on a lot of weight because I'm sitting around on computers and trying to organise everything. But it's like what your diet is, you know the end result of eating badly. Righty? So if you don't want that end result, change your habits.
So how do you get started? I think we were chatting before that you were talking about how kind of friends asked you and family asked you, so you went down the rabbit hole of crypto and you're obviously making some moves, drawing some attention. People started asking you a few questions about it, right? Yeah, just they were curious, you know, they saw I was doing all right in it and I was obsessed with it because that's all I talk about at barbecues and just at the pub or whatever, you know. So you're promoting that?
Yeah, I was definitely a shill, because it just had so much impact. And the people, the community too. I mean, it can be toxic at times, you know, you get a lot of maxis and certain coins and all that sort of stuff and it can be quite toxic.
Explain that, what's that?
Oh, like a Bitcoin maxi, you know, they are people that are into Bitcoin and that's it and everything else is a shit coin. And then you get someone that's 100% of the Cardano, that's all, everything else is a shit coin, you know what I mean? They've got no horizon, it's just with these ones. So there is a bit of that, but the crypto community Yeah, they're just the best people that I've met over the years.
Awesome.
And also getting people into the crypto community. An example, once again, won't say a name.
So the crypto community and the culture.
Yeah, it, definitely. And the impact it has on people's lives, because like I onboarded this lady. She's very, very smart. She's like a biochemist that worked in laboratories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she happened to break her foot or her leg or something like that. Yeah. So she was all whatever, and she had a bit of time off, and she'd always wanted to get into it. So anyways, she called me up, and I got her into it. And just on a side thing is, once you spend a lot of time with people and you're educating them and that sort of stuff, most of my students, we've become very close and good friends. I've got to know them personally and that sort of stuff. And it's such a diverse background of people that get into it. So not only you make really good friends and good connections, but you also get to see the diversity of the human nature.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
cool.
So
Yeah.
guys that are different, and you learn from them a lot too.
So you wanted to connect with some of these people in the way that you
absolutely
did
not.
this tool.
Because you are spending a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
You know? And anyways, and we spent 3 or 4 months, and she got hard into it, and then I didn't hear from her for a month or two. We text and all that. Oh, how you going? Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just, going through some things and whatever. She had some personal things going on.
Yeah.
Then she rings me up, and I'm like, hey, how you going? She's like, oh, listen, and she's voice is breaking up and cracking and all that. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong, love? What the fuck's happened,
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't thank you enough. I'm like, why? What's going on? She goes, I hadn't checked my crypto for a couple of months, and this is during when I went parabolic. And she goes, I've got $28,500 in crypto, right? Yeah, and I went, yeah, that's about right, mate. And she goes, I've never had $280 in my bank before.
Wow.
And she's a single mum.
Yeah.
Righty? She goes, this has changed my life.
Wow.
Right? And she was like crying. I'm getting fucking emotional talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. I'm like, that's what it's for, babe, And she goes, I just can't thank you enough and all that sort of stuff. And and then when I got off the phone, because it was a very emotional phone call, I got off the phone and I was talking to her, and I'm like, to have an impact like that on someone's life, it changes their life. Not only their community, educating themselves, financially finding some freedom. It's not a lot of money to some people. Some people it's a lot. It's bugger all or whatever.
Sometimes it's just that start or that little leg up.
That's right.
That can create that momentum.
Look at how many people don't have $2,000 in their bank. Look at how many people cannot go for a month or two without an income.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for them to get that freedom.
Economic freedom, financial freedom.
So that was when I went.
The main focus is freedom, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You know, but also self-improvement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I said before, how you view money, and having a long-term horizon on things and that sort of stuff. So it was a very powerful impact. And this through coincidence, because I was just teaching people online and I was pretty busy and whatever. And a student of mine that I'd been with for years, he's like, oh, we should build a business. And I'm like, not interested, I'm busy, da. But after that phone call that I had from her, I just went, is there a better job that you can do than to improve people's lives? And this might sound corny, I don't give a fuck, right? I honestly don't. To improve people's lives, better them, get them some financial freedom, and just change and alter their future.
Yeah.
Because without that, she would 9 to 5 maybe get 150 grand in super. Do you know what I mean?
But never getting ahead.
No.
For herself or a
kid.
kid.
If you're not doing something that's outside of 9 to 5, the one thing I can guarantee you, even if it's a second job, do you know what I mean, or whatever, one thing I can guarantee you, especially with the printing of money and how the financial system's working and how the market cycles work, you're going to retire broke. If you don't empower yourself now, I'm not a financial advisor, but my advice is if you don't empower yourself now, by the time you retire, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And that is a certainty, right? That's not a maybe, that's not a bit of grey. Yeah. That is like, so if you're not doing something now, building your own second business after your 9 to 5, investing in crypto, doing something, even going to the markets and selling stuff on the weekend and getting that extra money and saving it or putting it in somewhere. If you're 9 to 5, I would say 90% of people that are 9 to 5 will retire broke.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's not just talking about like the crypto, this topic. It's just how the world has, like you said, the world's changed. My grandfather, my grandparents raised me, and my grandfather, would say like, I don't understand how you're expected in this country to own property. You'd have to go out into the country, buy land and build, compared to what he had to buy. He said, which we all know, the price has gone and the salary has. Yeah. So the salary and getting that job and that one job and that full-time thing and doing things was okay back then. But my grandfather was 91 when he passed away just a couple of years ago. So he, even back then, was a professor, and then he also had his own business. He also had a few things going. Bit of hustle. But back then, when you're starting out, you have your salary and you have, there's a bit of balance. Now it's just like, if you don't do, and you will need a lot more money than you think you'll need. Yep. You're out of work for 6 weeks. Yep. You've got medical happen to you. Whatever it is, you will always need. And it's not about having this love for money, this lust for money, and you're just a capitalist. It's actually about protecting your family, protecting yourself, having some security, having some foresight, because you're going to need it. Yep,
100%. Because if you look at the last, I don't know, probably from the 1940s, right? They used to have a single income household. Yep. The dad went out.
Yeah.
With his income, he could support his wife and a family.
Yeah.
Then it's turned to the wife and the family. The husband and the wife have to work, and they just break even.
Yeah.
Now the kids don't move out. They stay a lot longer. So they're renting rooms off them, which is another form of income, but they can't afford to go out on their own.
Yeah.
So now you've got basically, instead of a one income household that can support a family, now you've got a family that has to pretty much stay together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is a grim reality of what we live in.
And it's not like that, it's quality time. It's not like back then where the mum was at home always with that energy of that kid as the kid was growing, changing.
Had the weekends off, take them to the football, go to sports days. Because you don't even have time to do that now, and especially with fly in, fly out, and just life, you know? Like people are working and then they get home, they maybe see their kids, hang out with them a bit, whatever. So the family dynamics changed, right? So the kids they spend a lot more time at home. Some of them don't move out to 24, 26, right? And they would like their independence, but they can't afford to.
Yeah.
Now,
that's an important part of their growth. Yeah.
It is, But one thing that you can guarantee, right, is the way that, not to get too political, the way that governments work and what they're doing, there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government measure, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is as good as it's going to get,
Yeah.
And it's not very good, So you're talking 10, 15 years, and we've got both the wife and the husband working long hours, probably jobs that they don't like. They don't have the energy to explore other opportunities because they've raised their family. The kids are staying a lot longer. Even their girlfriends come and move, you know what I mean? And it becomes that. This is as good as it's going to get.
And to deal with the stress, there's endless distractions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Netflix, you know what I mean? Just
take you out of the reality of your life. So you don't have to
that's
deal with
right.
It. Yeah.
Because I think it was Henry Ford, said that if you love what you do, you don't work a single day in your life.
Yeah. My grandfather said the same thing, actually.
Right, brilliant.
He had this big smile on his face in his bedroom and just said, God, mate, I haven't worked a day in my life.
I love coming to work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Most of the time, I don't like leaving, and I have to have formed habits where I have to go, you need a day off because your productivity is declining, because of the fatigue.
Your podcast siesta.
The what?
Your podcast siesta between 1 and 3.
What's that?
You have a rest.
Oh yeah, right, gotcha. Yeah, but
I coined it.
But sometimes I don't. I will just not even look at the markets for a day or two. Do you know what I mean? And that respite that you get. Yeah. But imagine being like that all the time and you didn't have the opportunity to check out. So that's why substance abuse, alcohol, food,
people act out.
aggression, because they're not happy where they are, you know. So investing and getting people onboarding and it's, yeah, I make good money out of it and I've done extremely well out of it and that sort of stuff. But it's more about, once again, going to sound corny, it's empowering people to take control and alter their lives, you know, and that's what I give a shit about.
Decide their destiny.
That's right. Decide their own destiny, bro.
Yeah.
You know? But to decide your own destiny, first you have to make the decision.
Yeah.
Now, anyone can make that decision, but then you've got to have the balls and the follow through and the discipline. And I like to break things down in the sense where I go, listen, your life is, I don't know what it is, go to work, come home, crack a beer, sit there, drink 6 beers, have your food, have 2 more beers, go to bed.
Got a pretty good life there.
Yeah, and that's their life, right?
Yeah.
So then you go, listen, in order for you to change your life, you're going to have to alter pretty much everything you do,
Habits.
right? But don't alter it all at once, righty? Because it becomes too overwhelming, it's too fatiguing, it's too much commitment.
And then you relapse,
Change an hour of the day and do differently. Walk the dog instead of the 3rd beer. Do you know what I mean? Do something else to replace it. And then once that becomes habit, you get a reward from it. The serotonin kicks in.
Yes.
And then you go, oh, I've achieved that. A small goal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people go, I need to alter my life, and they just go hard. I'm going to do yoga at 6:30, then I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to stop eating this. I'm going to just eat vegetables.
Almost 6 days after New Year's, I'm going to hit it all, and then it's like
that's right.
A week later, what happened to your plans?
That's
what happened to your goals?
Because you're trying to do too much too quick, and it's the same with learning with crypto and all that. They want to spend 8-12 hours. I've got to learn the market. Bite-sized pieces, change your life, change your habits. You know what I mean? But do achievable goals. And then if you don't do them, don't beat yourself up. Just go, okay, I've either overstretched it, where I'm saying I'm going to go 2 hours and I'm not doing that, so I'm going to make it an hour. If that doesn't work, make it half an hour. If that doesn't work, make it 15 minutes. Do you know what I mean? But get something that alters in your life.
Find your launch pad.
And build from it. Because a lot of people like to say they want to alter and they just go too hard and you just burn out. Because you've got 15, 20, 30 years of habitual learning in your life that you're now trying to undo them 20, 30 years. You know, you're not going to do it in 2 or 3 weeks. No. You know, and then when they haven't achieved it in 2 or 3 weeks, they give up and they slid straight back into the lifestyle. Next you know, another 5 years have passed, they're sitting doing the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's so much of that indoctrination, so much of that social influence in the way that we cognitively function, the way that we look at the world. Yeah, so this, one of the biggest social demise, I think, has been the sense of community. If you don't have strong family, you don't have strong faith, you don't have strong community, then you're
isolated.
Yeah, you're isolated. Yeah, if you're isolated, you're easily attacked.
You see it in households. Like I'll go around someone's house and they'll have 3 kids. The 3 kids are in 3 separate rooms, watching 3 different movies, or on 3 different screens, and the parents are out the back. Do you know?
It's short-term pleasures, short-term gains. Realizing that if you had things where you interacted and you came together, and maybe you sacrificed the movie you want to watch, but you want the 3 of you to be together, that's going to create memories for the rest of your life. Or you remember that you were in your room doing that own thing because you were in this me first psychosis that kind of wrecked your family upbringing and what you remember from it, and you've just become this solitary sort of machine. And I think that's my grandparents, when I asked them what are some of the differences in their day from our day, and one of the things that they said is we live so isolated and there's no real sense of community, and that's huge. Back then they used to go to the church, go to the sports, take the kids wherever. A neighbour, would need you to look after the kids. You'd trust that person. You'd go over here. They a lot of the kids played with one of the back house and also at the front house. One of them was an NRL coach in legend, and these different sort of things. And so you have so much experience, and so much social contact in a way. He played with Jack's boys, and then Jack's boys, and all these different, social, interactions that create a rich sort of tapestry of your life. A rich experience. Where now it's like, what do you do? I was in my room. So is that what you did? VR goggles on, that was my tapestry of my
Yeah.
life. Like, holy smokes!
Well, yeah, and that's
But
it.
the crypto
you know?
community is strong, right?
Yeah, 100%. And they generally will support, like you can get on Reddit for 4chan, not so much, whatever, and just ask questions. You do get trolled a bit, but just have a sense of humour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Be willing to take it.
Yeah, because they will test you to see how you react, and if you react poorly, then they'll just fucking hammer down,
Yep.
But they're open, transparent. You can ask them anything, they'll answer you. They're just helping each other because it's sort of all almost like a common goal for everyone. They're growing, they're improving, and if they can help and grow someone else, then to achieve what they're achieving, you know what I mean? Because the one thing that you do want to do, well, it's the dichotomy of it is when you're doing really well, you want the ones that you love around you to do well, or friends to do well, or people, work colleagues to improve and do well. And it's the same if you're doing poorly, you want to drag other people down as well. Do you know what I mean? It's that negative thing,
Yeah.
So that's what I like about the crypto community, because it's so empowering and improving that there is that positive we want to share,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
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 That's why, they're the best people, bro.
Yeah.
They really are.
Can I've got a question just to, I guess, summarise and just to close out. What's the main motivation, for someone coming into it, if someone asks you a question, your motivation, what's the main motivation of crypto? Because with new things and I guess different things, people kind of get their own ideas. Are you getting crypto because you want to be cool? You are getting crypto because you want to be rebellious. Whatever it is, people have these little labels that they'll put on people. Okay. But I think it'd be great for you to summarize what's the main, financial freedom or personal growth, empowerment. What's the main motivation or reason for people to get into the crypto space, so that they know as well, because it's that clarity, I'm just experimenting, I'm just chugging someone told me to do it. What's the main reason?
I think, excuse me, probably pretty much everything we covered.
Yep.
Is the improvement and just, look, if you don't do it, you know what your future is, and for most people it's not all that bright, so at least give it a go, because it will, and I've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It changes people's lives. It literally alters their lives, just for their community.
Yep.
But the naysayers, and you will get a lot of people. I mean, when I first started,
naysayers and haters,
they were just, the crypto, the Bitcoin thing, and I was just like, no, I think I'm onto something. If you ever want to know what the mainstream media have to say about anything, because the people that are negative towards something generally are getting their information from mainstream, righty, or from work colleagues.
And misery likes company.
And it does, righty. And
together.
anything new that's outside their scope, they will not, and they don't understand. Why would you listen to someone that doesn't know what they're talking about telling you you're doing something wrong? Right? Now, fair enough, if they've been in it for 5 years and they understand it and they're saying not to do it, I'd listen to that person. But someone that knows nothing about blockchain, nothing about technology, because I've got the article on the presentations that I do, and it's from the year, I think it's June 2000, headline in a newspaper says the internet is just a passing fad. People aren't adopting it. It's the headline in the year 2000. That's what they were pumping out to people, right? The people that are writing articles, the people that,
even CEOs, the CEO of Nokia, I believe it was Nokia, I might have got this wrong, but one of the CEOs of one of the other phone companies was saying about Apple is, this is going to be a fad. It doesn't have a keyboard. This is going to be over. It was over.
That's right. I'm pretty sure it was Motorola or Nokia.
Okay,
it was, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So don't be deterred, I guess the message is don't be deterred by, because people will look at it as a threat, and if it threatens their safety, if it threatens their current reality, and maybe the current reality is shite, but they know it. And if you're threatening to get them out of that, but what I'm gaining from is the main motivation, the main reason is actually responsibility. It's ethical responsibility to your future, to your loved one's future.
Yep.
It's not something new. It's not, to diversify. It's not, what you're saying is it's an ethical responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because not only have I set myself up, I don't need to work for the rest of my life, right? At all.
And if you're in your other job.
Oh, that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
That I'd have to work for the rest of my life.
Wow.
I'm
So you
more
flipped the switch.
important setting up my kids and leaving them something and
Legacy.
That sort of stuff. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about just, look, you're not going to get ahead. You're just not. The system is, not to get too political about it, it's not designed for the normal person to get ahead. It's just not. It's just not. And it's not changing anytime soon. As a matter of fact, they've printed more money in the last 18 months, 2 years, than they have in the last 60. Right? I've got on my charts in the presentation. Since Bretton Woods and going off, it goes like this. And then the last 2 years, the printing of money's just done that. It literally has just gone parabolic. Righty?
Yeah.
So if you want to hedge against money, oh God, I don't even know where to start. Like, God, the printing of money has been so prolific that the devaluation of the dollar is so massive. The overinflation of the stock market is massive. Isn't it funny that the world's been shut down for 2 years, but the stock market's at all-time highs? Isn't it funny we've been shut down for 2 years, but real estate prices are all-time highs? Why is that? Because so much money has come into the system and these people need to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
So they push the price up everywhere. That's called a bubble.
Yeah.
You think that the financial global crisis was a problem? Wait for the next 3 or 4 years. Seriously, wait for the next 3 or 4 years. And you can guarantee that a lot of shit's going to go wrong. You know what I mean? Just in the supply chain, right? And then with things that they've implemented with crazy times. But take control of your future, right? Whatever that may be, right? Because if you don't, nobody else is going to fucking do it for you.
No one's coming.
Right?
Yeah, no one's coming to save you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And small steps, just, I'm going to change a habit. You know what I mean?
And staying in one place is actually one of the most dangerous things you can do to your future.
Yeah.
Staying still.
Because you're guaranteed that you're going to go nowhere. You know, if you stay still, both in your education, come on in, mate. Both in your education, but also your finance and your family. Yeah. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. And that's both mentally, because even people that retire, you know, I won't use that example, but people that retire and they go, okay, this is it for me now. And they just sit in front of the TV, just eating. Do you know what I mean? They don't go out, they're not stimulated. And an example, the guy works hard all his life, and then he retires, and in 2 or 3 years' time, he looks like he's aged 20 years.
Yeah.
You know?
My grandfather had the same experience. He was a professor for teaching people architecture, and he looked, you know, so he was retiring, and someone, you know, tipped him off and just, you know, gave him a bit of good information and said, look at what happens to everyone who retires 2 to 3 years. And there was such a high percentage of people that passed away 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years.
Not old people, but they passed away. So he set up his business after he left. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
because they stopped their social structure, which is stimulating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Interacting with different people, different personalities, different goals. They've stopped their routine. They've stopped achieving things. Like even at the end of the day, even if your job's shitty, if you feel like you've earned a beer, you've achieved something.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Sense of progress.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now imagine having that at 20 years old, where you're not going anywhere, where you're not achieving anything, you're not getting stimulated, you're not growing, you're not improving, you're fucking aging. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're about growing.
For the youth, yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's what I do. I talk to the youth.
I love it. Thank you for the conversation. It's been great to learn more, you know, from Brandon, and I really love a lot of it. You know, we got passionate. You got teary there for a sec.
Yeah, got a bit emotional.
Have to get you some Kleenex. No, but you're passionate about what you want to do, and it's about that ethical responsibility for your future, which I think is such an important, you know, topic to discuss. You know, no matter the amount of distractions in the world, that's the main goal. Like freedom. Are you setting yourself up for freedom, or are you setting yourself up for shackles? So that's the message. But thank you.
No, thank you, brother. That was good.
Yeah.
It was weird, but it was good.
Weird, but good. At least you can cry on my shoulder. That would probably be the next level.
Cool, man. All right, let's have a beer, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Lovely.